Y'all know what time it is. You tuned in, you searched for it, you found it, you followed us, you subscribed. You know what it is. It's the Still Safe Show where we break down the breakthrough with some of the most inspiring individuals who have some of the dopest stories of change and transformation you have ever heard. And boy, do I have a story for you today. Or maybe several.
Could be.
Look, I don't know. Man, we got Houston's finest Gene Moore in the building.
Man,
what's up, baby?
Thank you for having me, brother.
Oh, man, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes, sir.
We've been trying to make this happen for
a minute.
Yeah.
But now is the right time.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
My guy.
Nah,
my
man. I'm excited. I've been wanting to do this for a while. You're one of those people in the city that I've admired from afar, that I've looked up to. Not to say you old or anything. Because usually when you say that, it's that you talking to like your elders, right?
Yeah.
But even as somebody who's kind of in my age group, I've looked up to you.
I appreciate
you've always
that,
carried yourself in an honorable way, and I respect that, man.
I appreciate
so I just want to be able to share that publicly.
My guy.
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. Man.
But for the few people out there who may not know who you are, we got some folks across the country, across the world. You know
be like, who's that guy?
Right. Like the few people.
Yeah.
Give us the Gene Moore in a nutshell, man. Who is this incredible man?
Gene Moore is a Southern boy with a big heart. I love God. I love people. I'm a husband. Love my wife. Shout out to my babe who's over in the corner filming me right now. Make sure you get my good side, babe.
She know all the sides.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, she knows which sides.
It's interesting you told me you were a youth pastor because I used to be a youth pastor for years. So, and that hasn't changed. Just in terms of my love for the next generation, I love young people. I may not be wearing that hat anymore professionally, but I love young people. I'm also an artist. I've been signed to Motown Gospel since 2013. I released my first record with them in 2017. Released my second record with them in 2019. And I just recently celebrated my second Grammy nomination this year because of what I did with P.J. Morton. There's a song that P.J. Morton released called The Better Benediction.
Oh, that's my jam.
Yeah.
Y'all had some powerhouse singers on that.
Man, yeah.
I don't know how y'all mixed everybody on there.
So this was the funny thing. It was me, Simo, Tim Rogers, Zaccardi, and Daryl Walls. So me, Zaccardi, and Daryl are all from Houston.
Yep.
So we went in the studio together. We recorded our vocals. I'm not sure where Simo recorded his vocals. I'm not sure where Tim recorded his vocals. But what's crazy is that we were all able to mentally lock in to where nobody was overriding the other. Yeah. There was no crazy vocal conflicts. Everybody was able to pace themselves, and it didn't feel like it was too much, when we heard the finished product.
Oh, for sure.
So the only time that we all came together was for the video shoot. And when I tell you, everybody came in there with just great attitudes, great energy, no egos. And honestly, all of those guys have every right to be arrogant because every one of them can sing, like sing. But everybody came in with great energy. It was organic. It wasn't forced. Everybody just got along real good, man. And I want to give a shout out to PJ. Thank you, my brother, for just allowing me to have that opportunity. And I also snagged my second Grammy nomination because of PJ Morton. Hopefully one day I'll win a Grammy, man.
We getting closer and closer.
Maybe the third time will be a charm. I don't know, man.
Man, we getting there, bro. Like you've been putting in and putting on for years. Yeah. I've been a fan. And it's just been remarkable to watch the growth. And yeah, man, that Grammy is definitely right around the corner, man.
Yeah. I often put it this way. Every football player wants to win a Super Bowl. Let's just keep it real.
For sure.
Every baseball player wants to go to the World Series. Every basketball player wants to go to an NBA championship. Every tennis player wants to go to Wimbledon. So I'm an artist, and I'd like to win a Grammy one day.
Yeah, man. Of course. Absolutely. Keep putting out that
we
music, man.
Keep putting in the work.
Look, the nominations lead to the Grammy. I'm just saying, dog. Yeah. It's getting there. We getting there. And especially here in the city, man, to be from Houston, Texas, man, you just make us so proud, man. We got a lot of great artists in the city, gospel, secular, to just the culture of music here is phenomenal. And you've contributed to that. Right?
You think so?
Oh, bro, come on, man.
Man.
I would say not even just musically, but in terms of church culture, which floods into secular culture. What your dad and the family have done in the city has been phenomenal. But before we go there, pastor's kid, PK. Can we talk about that for a little bit?
Man, let's talk about it.
I'm just saying, because there's a lot of stereotypes when it comes to like PKs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Did you live up to any of those stereotypes?
Absolutely not. No, I'm lying.
I was like, dang, no, I'm just playing.
No, man.
We ain't got to go into no details or nothing.
Hey, no. We can, I don't mind being candid. I grew up trying to do everything contrary to the church. And what's crazy was that I was a church kid.
Yeah, for sure.
So I still went to church. I went to Sunday school. I was in the youth choir. I was a part of the youth drill team. So I was definitely in church. But I would say around my college years, that was when, I wanted to turn up a little more. I pledged a fraternity. So, being a part of that fraternity life, you're exposed to, more parties, more opportunities. And so when I tell you, I that was when I was,
bro. I only did one semester at U of H.
Yeah,
and I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah,
and then ended up at HBU. Right. I'll just leave it at that. I'll let y'all make the assumptions you want to make, but that alone will tell you. I get it, bro.
Right.
I only lasted one semester. God was like, nope.
Right. Because everybody would always say when I was coming up, you're going to preach. So in my own rebellious way, I was trying to prove them wrong. So, I was drinking a lot in college. Yeah. I learned to smoke weed in college. I learned it. And for some of y'all that's looking at me, y'all are probably saying, what, he did that? Yep, I did, Yeah. But I learned that when I really grew in my relationship with God, it wasn't about anybody else.
Yeah.
It's all about me and God, And so when I really, really started to dig deeper in the Word of God, when I really began to develop my relationship with God, it was my way of saying, God, you've been there for me. You've given me gifts. You've spared my life. So let me give my life back to you. So at that point, I didn't care what anybody else said.
Yeah.
I didn't care about stereotypes. This was me and God and my way of saying, while I have breath in my body, I'm just going to give you praise.
Yeah.
Whether it's through singing, whether it's through preaching, whether it's through evangelizing, I'm going to give you praise.
And there's a specific reason why I wanted to ask that. Because not just pastors' kids, right? I know they get the bad rap and the stereotypes, but there's a lot of other people who come from, maybe the athlete's kid or the singer's kid or the successful businessman who put this pressure on their children, right? And if you don't mind sharing, bro, like take me back, because that's what this is all about, like breaking down the breakthrough, right? And you've got a wealth of experience and knowledge that somebody sitting in your same predicament, we may be able to help them avoid some of the pitfalls. You feel me? But why do you think sometimes when you come from that type of background where it seems like it's a silver platter, like you just got to do this, why do you think we sometimes buck that or rebel? And I know you can only speak on behalf of yourself, but why do you think you chose that during that season?
Wow. I didn't understand balance at the time. Growing up, I had this ideology of God that he was, this big God sitting on a chair with a hammer, beating everybody down. You messed up, bam. You did this, bam. So I grew up just with the fear of the Lord, and I didn't really get to experience a lot of things that I deemed to be fun. Now, fun doesn't always mean corrupt. Everything that's fun is not necessarily a sin. It's not necessarily corruption. But I was of the mindset that, well, if I go to that party, then I'm in sin, and that's just not the case. We can get into that later. But so I got to that point where I just said to myself, all right, well, I'm tired of being so limited, boxed in. I just want to experience some fun things or things that I thought were fun. Now, some of the things that I deemed fun were kind of corrupt.
Straight up.
And so I think that's why it's important to teach the younger generation balance. It's okay to have balance, man. It's okay to love the Lord, be a Christian, and still have fun. Now, fun still has to be within the parameters of wisdom. because the Bible does say all things are lawful but not expedient. So everything's not necessarily a sin, but some things are just not wise choices.
Hit him with the King James version, right? What's the other version? All things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There
we had to break it down for a slow folk. You know, oh man.
So some things are not necessarily wise choices, and if you make some unwise choices, you may have to deal with those unwise choice repercussions. You know, so certain things that I deemed as fun were corrupt. But however, getting back to what I was saying, it's just important to let young people know that you can have balance. And I think that if people are exposed to that, then they won't fight so hard at trying to get what we were taught as the forbidden fruit of life. Does that make sense?
Oh man, it makes a lot of sense, bro. Because sometimes when you cage something up over here and you say you can't touch this, you can't touch this, you can't touch this. Yeah. Like all you want to do is touch it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all you want to do. Right. I heard somebody say too, I think it was a psychologist or somebody really, really smart. They were like, you cannot tell the brain to do the negative.
Right.
Right. And it hit me. I was like, what are you talking about? And then he asked the question. He said, all right, I want you to not think about an elephant. And obviously the first thing you do is what you do.
Think about
you think about an elephant because you told me not to do it.
Right. Exactly.
And it's like I do that with my kids a lot too. We spend a lot of times, because I got 5, bro. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, for real?
I have 5 kids.
I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, man. So I got a lot.
Wow.
But that's where these grades come in. But anyway, I do that with my kids a lot. I'll tell them, don't spill this, or don't, drop that, or as opposed to saying the affirmative. But we spend a lot of time telling them, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Yeah. And lo and behold, they end up spilling, the juice all over themselves, or whatever the case may be. So, but man, you got a record, and I can't remember when you dropped this one. Was it called Restore Me?
What's it called? Recover?
Recover. That's the one, bro. Okay. Recover. And there's a line in there that you said, my faith responded, dog. What was that line, dog? It was something, man, bro.
Oh, man.
That one hit me like right here. Because I went through a season of depression. And you kind of got to continuously battle that. But you said my faith responded.
Faced depression, but my faith responded.
That was it, bro.
When I cry. Thought I hope it died. Man, I hadn't sung that song in like 5 years.
Bro, that one has stuck with me, dog. I'm telling you, because like we've all been there. We've all been there where like we face depression. And it may not be like severe anxiety and depression where it's crippling, but we've been in those moments where we've been sad, dog. But when you said my faith responded, because a lot of times when we go through depression, the alcohol responded.
Absolutely.
This side chick responded. You know what I'm saying?
It's very easy to fall back on unhealthy vices. Especially when you're mentally feeling overwhelmed and depressed and low and hopeless. So it's easier to have an escape. Whether escape is your version of using marijuana or alcohol or being promiscuous, something just to give me a temporary escape. And so the lyric, my faith responded, that's key because, and I go back to the story of Joseph. Joseph was thrown in prison unfairly because Potiphar's wife lied on him and said, this man, he attacked me, he raped me. So, he was thrown in the pit unfairly. Now, he could have kicked and screamed. He could have cussed out God and said, why is this happening to me? It's unfair. And here's what's funny. When you read that story, when you turn the page, it looks like, okay, he was out in about a week.
Yeah,
but he was actually in there for a couple of years. Now, how many of us can be in a situation for that long knowing that you didn't do anything wrong? You would probably think, man, God, you're not right. But the Bible says that God was still with him. And so Joseph had to lean on his faith, knowing that God was still with him and knowing that even in the dark place, God was still working behind the scenes. So check this out, man. And I guess I'm putting my preacher's hat on now.
Look, listen.
So
I love it.
When Joseph was in the pit, the Bible says that the keeper of the prison put him in charge of the other prisoners. Now, keep in mind, God ultimately knew that he was going to raise him up to be a ruler. But how can you rule if you don't have administration and delegation skills? So when he was in the pit, then Joseph was able to develop his delegating skills and his administrative skills by talking to the other prisoners and saying, okay, y'all do this, y'all do that, y'all do that. But it was at that one moment. And see, that's all it takes is just that one moment, man. You can go through years of turmoil, but God will use one moment to flip your life, one moment of interpreting the dream of the king. and then he became the ruler. You know, and so getting back to my faith responded, that's the reason why our faith has to respond, even when we're heavy. And I'm gonna tell you something, man, and I'm speaking from personal experience, and while I'm talking to you and talking to everybody out there, I'm really ministering to myself. Man, I just lost my mom last month, bro. Yeah. I lost my mom, and then, you know, just some other things that I was dealing with, and grief said, just quit, man. Yeah. Grief said, man, just find an escape, you know, and I could still hear the voice of the Lord saying, I'm with you, son. Yeah. I know it doesn't feel like it, but I'm watching and I'm with you. And sometimes you can't praise God based on what you feel. You have to praise him based on what you know. If you know that he's been there for you in the past, if you know he's brought you out, why is he going to stop now? Now that process, man, you be like, come on, man, God, come on. Why are you making me wait so long? This ain't it. You know what I'm saying?
You never really know how long it's going to take.
Yeah. It's like, okay, God, listen, it's been a year. It's been 6 months. Hey. You know what I'm saying?
Right. We start bargaining and negotiating. I've been faithful. I ain't been drinking.
Yeah.
I ain't out here sleeping around. I ain't committing adultery. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that. God, like, okay, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like my kids be trying, Dad, I took out the trash. I'd be like, okay, you want a reward for doing what you're supposed to do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But, you know, in those valley seasons, that's really when you see the hand of the Lord keeping you. And when you come out of the valley season and you look back in hindsight, you'll look at that valley moment and say, yo, that really should have killed me.
It should.
But God.
But God.
Yeah, man. So my faith responded. When I cried, thought all hope had died. You convinced my heart to give it another try. I will recover. Yeah, man. I may need to start singing that one live.
Listen, again, bro, that would hit me. That would hit me because we've all been in a position where we needed to recover, man. And I love the story of Joseph because not even just for believers who go through dark times, but I believe like even like entrepreneurs, like we're in this age, right, where everybody want to be their own boss. They want to boss up. They want to start their own thing or be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, man, sometimes like you learn a lot from working for other people who have established teams. You learn a lot from serving other organizations or serving somebody else's vision. And we frowned upon that in this day and age where it's almost like it's less than to work for somebody. But what you just shared though, like that's where Joseph learned the ability to be a leader.
Yeah.
When he was in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are at work right now feeling like they in jail.
Right.
And it's like, if you would just get what it is that God is trying to prepare you for, like that's your training ground.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have a buddy who, David Shands, Social Proof Podcast, and he went from working at the Cheesecake Factory to becoming a successful millionaire clothing brand company.
Yeah.
But he says that all the skills that he learned in terms of sales and customer service and things that helped him build his empire, he learned as a server at the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So don't despise that prison situation.
Exactly. And I want to insert this too, you know, because people may be listening and they may say, well, you know, that's easier said than done.
No, for sure. It is.
And let's just keep it real, man. Sometimes it's just hard. It's hard to stand on faith. It's hard to just continue encouraging yourself when everything around you is just so dark. And this is where your village have to come in.
Yeah.
You know, I look at it this way. Jesus even had help.
Come on.
You know, even in the Garden of Gethsemane when, and I'm paraphrasing right now, man, but he was like, yo, Dad, you know, I know this is what I was sent here for, but honestly, I don't know if I want to do this now, you know, and the Bible says God sent an angel to him, you know, so even Jesus had a moment of weakness and he had to have help. You know, I mean, let's fast forward, even when he was carrying the cross and he fell, and they had to call Simon to come help him pick that cross up. What I'm trying to say is that everybody needs some help.
Come on.
You know? And so, you know, you may be in that place where you're trusting God and your faith may be a little low and your spirit is just a little weak. And that's when you really, really need to surround yourself with good friends. Yeah. And so that's why at 44 years old, I don't have time for counterproductive relationships.
Man, listen.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to talk on the phone every day, but I really need to know that you have my back at the end of the day. You know, I don't have time for toxicity. I don't have time for fakeness. I need a strong village that'll circle around me because, you know, when you're having those days where you're going through, man, besides God, that's when you really, really need people that's gonna lift you up.
Yeah, man. Where 2 or 3 are gathered, there
yes, sir.
in the midst, and
Come on,
2
youth
is
pastor.
better than 1. And you know what I'm saying? We
Yeah,
can go
man.
back with a 3-banded chord is not easily broken.
Right.
We can keep it going.
We
dog.
can keep
Like,
it going,
you know
man. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, but man, look, and I love that too. Is we could get deep, we can get philosophical and theological, but like sometimes it's in the practicality of it. It's
There you
like,
go.
bro, like sometimes you just need to call up a homie and be like, hey, dog, I ain't feeling it.
Yeah.
And you don't need, and even with Joe, bro, like,
Yeah.
they was trying to like, what'd you do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what sin are you? You know, it's
Yeah.
like, but no, sometimes you just need somebody to come chill with you, not even say nothing.
Not
bro.
even say nothing. Sometimes
Like-
you just have to have people that'll be present. You got to be present. You just have to know how to sometimes just be a sounding board. Let that person just get it out, man. You know, I kind of have this pet peeve because if I'm going through something,
And your wife is here right now too,
Right,
so
right.
we can confirm these pet
right,
peeves
right,
if you need
yeah,
to.
yeah. My wife can tell you. There are days when, I need encouragement. There are days when, yes, I need some tough love and say, hey, now look, man, come on, get it together. And then there are other days where I just need folk to listen. So sometimes when you call those friends, you don't always just want the lecture right away. You don't always want the sermon right away. Sometimes you just want people that's just going to be there and say, I love you, man.
Straight up.
It's going to be all right. Period.
Nah, man, that group, that I've noticed that when doing these interviews and people sharing their stories, one of the common themes is a support system.
Yeah.
You know, having that support, whether it's family, whether it's a few friends, whether it's a therapist. It's like in this day and age, there's really no excuses.
Right.
Even introverts, you can go pay for a therapist. Like there's always somebody that's gonna be there.
Yeah.
But I have noticed that sometimes it's strength in numbers because the enemy, what he wants to do is he wants to isolate you.
Absolutely.
He wants to get you off into the corner by yourself because that's when you're most vulnerable.
Absolutely.
You know, if you, I mean, shoot, I remember back in the day, you know, I ain't been saved my whole life, but you know, if we wanted to run up on somebody,
Right.
we wasn't running up on them when they was in a big
One-on-one.
group.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, we
yeah.
was gonna catch them when they was by themselves, you know,
'cause that's when
or
you're more
vice
vulnerable.
versa.
Right.
So no, I get it. Being in that group is powerful, man. You know, that song sounds like it comes from a personal place. You know, do you mind taking me back to maybe not even just that moment, but any moment in your life? Because right now, bro, like I ain't gonna lie, dog. You're a handsome man. You're killing it with Motown Gospel, Grammy nominations. You've been on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks great. It looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But I know it hasn't always been this pretty.
Oh, no.
It hasn't always been this glamorous. Can you take me back to a moment where you really needed God and he came through?
Oh, man. So for years, I've struggled with depression.
Yeah.
Off and on. Thank God I'm not on any medication anymore. But years ago, I remember my doctor put me on some medication for depression, anxiety, things like that. Man, that stuff had me walking around like a zombie.
Been there, done that.
So I was like, nah, I'm good. But I'll honestly say when Recover was written, I don't really know the exact situation that was going on in my life that sparked that, but I will say that me, Aaron Lindsay, and Israel Houghton, we all co-wrote that one together. Aaron just came up with the melody. He didn't have any words. And I just started singing, I will recover. I didn't know where it came from. It was almost like I was trying to tell myself, I will recover. Oh. And Aaron was like, okay, yeah, keep singing. So Israel comes in with the don't count me out, I'm on my way. And that's how the song, just came to be. And it's something how when God will give you something, he'll test you on it first. Because nothing really got better after the song came out. As a matter of fact, things started getting worse. So it's like God's saying, okay, well, that's what you want to say.
It's not fair, God. I'm not gonna produce nothing else. Nothing. I'm just telling you right now, God. Because every time I do, no, I'm just playing, Lord.
But it's like, yeah, man.
It's like you
gotta be
either have
tested
had
and
to have
tried.
gone through it,
Exactly.
or he gonna put you through it.
Exactly.
Like, dog.
Because when you go in front of the people, you know, your testimony has to be authenticated. You know, so it's kind of like, okay, well, you want to sing about this now? I'm going to put you to the test and see how you're going to respond. So things actually got worse before it got better. So when I started going out and singing Recover, man, it you know, I saw the way it was blessing a whole lot of people. Matter of fact, and I'm not trying to name drop, and I don't believe he'll have an issue with me saying this. He's like my new big brother now, but there's an R&B singer by the name of Christopher Williams. Back in the 90s, he had this big song, Don't Wake Me, I'm Dreaming. We actually connected because he says that Recover got him through a lot of rough times in his life.
I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah, that's how we ended up connecting. And to this day, he still tells me Recover was the one that resonated with him the most. And so, I mean, you know, we're really good friends to this day. But I'm saying all of that to say that you just never know how the things that you're going through will bless somebody else. Yeah. But expect to be tested on.
Bro,
Yeah.
man. Well, I'm glad you passed the test, man. Or are passing the test, because you know it never stops.
Yeah, it never stops, man.
You know what are some other things that God has used to grow you, mature you, and get you to this place that you're at today?
Marriage.
Come on. Yes, bro. Marriage will make you holy.
Marriage, man. Hey, my wife's standing right there, man. So, you know, we talk about it a lot. I tell people all the time, and I haven't been married very long, but what I have learned in the short time I've been married is that marriage has been the greatest test of my patience and my mental fortitude. And it's pulled a lot of things out of me that I didn't even know was there, because it's going to make you be unselfish, or at least it's supposed to.
Yeah.
You know, that's the whole merging of the two becoming one. You know, you have to think about yourself and the other person. Yeah. You can't just march at the beat of your own drum like you used to. And see, I was that dude. I was always a nice guy. At least I thought I was a nice guy. But, you know, people used to tell me, man, you got selfish ways, bro. And I'm like, but I'm a nice guy. They were like, yeah, you a nice guy, but you just got selfish ways, bro. And so I couldn't see it because, you know, for a while I was just kind of doing my own thing. But I would honestly say that I've developed a new level of empathy for people.
Come on.
Through marriage, sympathy for people through marriage, patience and understanding for people through marriage. I feel like I make wiser choices now. You know, I'm not just out spending money the way that I used to. You know, anytime I spend money, I'm like, all right, the dollars have to make sense.
Come on.
The math got to math. If the math ain't mathing, man, I'm just not going to do it, because
they say numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie. Yeah, people do, because I have a family that I have to consider now, you know. So I think all of those things have matured me, and I'm still a work in progress, man. I'd be lying if I said I was perfect.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I'd be nervous, dog. I'd be like, dang, man.
Yeah.
Nah, man, you're right though. But marriage does have a unique way of making us unselfish.
There you go.
Or unless you're gonna end up in the courtroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be selfish if you want to.
On the couch.
Yeah. Oh man. You don't want to end up on the couch, dog.
You don't want to end up on the couch,
end up on the couch. Man, but what's going on now, man? You know, the Grammy nomination, you got to work with PJ Morton. I know you got some stuff up your sleeve, man. You always do.
So I'm releasing an EP next month. And the EP is called Introspection. And I know some of you may say, well, what's that mean? And I'm just going to simplify it. Introspection is really just self-evaluation. Yeah, that's what it is. Introspection is self-evaluation. So in 2020, during the pandemic, you know, everybody was in the house. I had a lot of time to think. My last record, Tunnel Vision, it was cycling out. Yeah. So I didn't really have anything in the market. I was home quite a bit. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do in terms of music. I wasn't feeling creative at all. Didn't know what my next direction was going to be. And so I just started to do a lot of soul searching. And fast forward, here I am releasing an EP, and I just said to myself, I want every song on the EP to be a reflection of the things that I was dealing with during that time period. So the first song is entitled All Right. That was written by B. Slade, and it was produced by the Red Hands Band. Yo, what up, fellas? The lyrics to the song says, first thing in the morning, you're complaining, but you say you want to be happy, but you don't look happy, you know? So you're really kind of talking to yourself at that point. So
you're also taking responsibility.
You're taking
for your
responsibility
feelings. Like,
for your feelings.
because you could wake up, you generally, a lot of us do, we wake up sometimes not feeling it.
Right.
Not wanting to get up out the bed, complaining.
Right.
I gotta go to this job, I gotta do this.
Yeah.
Oh man, the kids, they woke up before me,
Yeah.
and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stuff to complain about.
Right.
But what you just said in that lyric is like, no, you gotta take responsibility.
Absolutely.
Like, it don't have to stop like that.
Absolutely. And then the second song is entitled Beautiful. So that song is a reflection of how I feel about love, how I feel about my wife. You know, I'm praying that song will resonate with other couples, you know, just in terms of how they interact with one another. And I did that song with India Irie.
Oh, man.
The third song is called Commit. That was written by Paco Walls of the Walls Group.
Come on,
You know,
Paco.
that song is just talking about how I have to commit to something in this life, man. You know, sometimes we all over the place, and it's like, all right, what am I going to do with my life at this point? You know? Yeah. So, I mean, you know, every song has some.
Can we talk about that, though, for a second?
Yeah.
Because I just had this conversation with my daughter.
Yeah.
I talk about my kids a lot because I got a lot of them. Like,
yeah.
But my 14-year-old, she's a freshman in high school. She was like battling with a decision, and I can't even remember what it was. But I know she came to me because she wanted me to make up her mind for her.
Yeah.
Right. And I said, baby girl, whatever you decide, I just need you to decide.
Yeah.
I just need you to make a decision.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's enough grace on either side.
Yeah.
And, you know, in this particular case, there wasn't a right or wrong. It was just a matter of pick something and commit.
There you go.
And commit and go for it.
Yeah.
You know, because if you're going to keep going back and forth, like, we're not going to move. We're just going to be stuck right here. But pick a path, go down it, and just give it your all, right? So I ain't even heard the song yet, but I can't wait. That probably ain't got nothing to do with the song.
No. It has everything to do with that song. And fast forward, because it's six tracks total on the EP, but one song in particular that's going to be my focus single next month when the EP is released. It's entitled I Believe. That was written by Eric Dawkins and produced by my boy Sad Smith, who's a phenomenal producer here in Houston. That song has a different meaning for me now because my mother in her last weeks, and my mother had dementia. So, you know, some days she would be on, she would be off. Some days she'll sleep, some days she's awake. Well, this particular day she was just asleep, you know. I played the song and I put my phone by her pillow while the song was playing. She wakes up, she looks at me and she just starts to cry. So that was almost her way. Nah, I'm not gonna even say almost. That was her way of blessing the song, saying, "Wow, that got me right here." Yeah, you know. So now, anytime I sing, I believe, or when I even play it back in the car, I just kind of dub that as Mama's song. So it has a new meaning for me now. So with all that being said, Introspection 6-song EP is coming out next month. It's not necessarily straight ahead gospel. It's a little more inspirational, just something I wanted to do this time around. But however, every song has some form of God awareness.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, I can't wait to check it out, man. I can't wait to check it out. What does that introspective work look like for you? Like, how, like, because you said that obviously came from you doing the work.
Yeah.
Give me the practical side of it. Like, how does one arrive at being introspective and self-aware? Like, you don't just wake up. Like, it takes a little bit of work, right? You got to look yourself in the mirror. But what did that look like for you?
Yeah. You have to just start looking at the fruit around you. That may be a little too spiritual, so let me just say it like this. You just have to look at your results, man. You got to look at the stuff that's going on in your life.
Ooh, dog.
Yeah. You got to start looking at the results, and you're just like, all right, something ain't working. Or I'm doing it this way, but something it's just not, it's not adding up. And once you start acknowledging those things, then it'll make you do a lot of self-reflecting and say, okay, what can I do to fix this? Or what am I not doing enough of? When you get to that point, some people journal. I'm not a big journal person, but some people journal. Write these thoughts out. Live with those thoughts. And once you live with those thoughts, ask yourself, okay, this is what it is. Now, what can I do different?
Come on.
Or what can I do better?
Man.
You know? So that's a form of introspection. It's taking accountability because you're not right all the time. Nobody is right all the time, you know? So it's taking accountability and it's doing self-work and self-reflection.
man, that's crazy. You know, I do that a lot in business with the few businesses that I've started.
Yeah.
And then when I'm coaching and consulting with certain companies, I always like to examine the results.
Yeah.
Especially of a marketing campaign. Like
Right.
that was I love marketing, right? And if you spend any money, you want to know what the return is, right? And then you want to evaluate, okay, we did X, it generated Y.
Yeah.
Right. And then you want to know, okay, well, can we duplicate that? Can we multiply it? Can we scale it?
Right.
But you have to like examine the results and then what you did to arrive at those results. It's not luck, is what I'm saying. And a lot of people, I think, myself included, for a long time, like I would wake up and just think that like life was happening to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I had no control whatsoever of the things that were occurring in my life. And what I'm hearing is like you actually can take control. You have some responsibility and some accountability. And that's what that self-awareness piece does, man. It's crazy. Because if you actually look at the results and the fruit, you can trace it back to patterns and habits and thought processes and perspectives. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, well, cool. Maybe if I shift my perspective a little bit, maybe I might get some different results. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because pride will get us stuck. You know, pride will just tell you, I'm right, my way is right, ain't nothing wrong, and everybody else around me just has to acclimate to my ideology. That's pride. You know, pride goes before destruction. I look at taking ownership as a form of humility. I look at it as a form of godliness. Come on. You know, because even, you know, again, putting my preacher's hat on, man, it's something that David said.
You ain't never take it off, dog. What you talking about?
It's something that David said in the book of Psalms, and I can't remember the exact chapter and verse, but he said it like this. He said, when I kept silent, my bones waxed old and my moisture turned into the drought of summer. But when I acknowledged my sins and my iniquities, I did not hide. That's when you forgave me. So in other words, just own your stuff, man. Take your L. That's next to godliness, man. That's next to humility. When you can own the fact that, okay, I made a bad move, that's when you're going to see the grace, man. God gives grace to the humble. That's word.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's
man.
the only way you can make a shift is when you acknowledge it. And, and then a lot of times they say that's one of the first steps is acknowledge, awareness, acceptance. I think it's acceptance, right?
There you go. Yes.
That's real. Man, I got one more thing for you, bro. I'm sorry, man. I know.
No. Hey, man,
I'm like,
good.
dog.
You're good, man.
We done put the preacher's hat on. He done tried to pull me out the belly of the fish. Like I'm trying to run, dog. I ain't trying to go to Nineveh right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me keep running, Gene, dog. But
I told you, man, I'm giving you a year and a half, bro. You gonna call me in about a year and a half, man. I'm putting that out there, man. Y'all heard it first. Yeah, man.
Okay. All right. But anyway, I got to ask you this. This is a new question that I've been asking a lot of folks because somebody posed it to me and it was very, very eye-opening. They asked me, what is my life's mission? And I thought about that because, again, in business and marketing, I always consult companies, have a mission, have a vision, have your core values, right? It's imperative for a successful business to create culture and sustainable success. But when they asked me about it, like me as a person, it's like, yo, Dave, like, what's your mission? Like, what is guiding you throughout this life? Why are you here? I was like, dang, that's a good one. You know, so I'm gonna propose the same question to you, Gene. You've been on this earth for a little while, 40 plus years. You know what I'm saying? Ain't got not one gray in his beard. I'm jealous.
Well, I ain't got no gray because I use just for me.
I knew it. I wasn't gonna tell nobody. All right. So aside from dyeing the grays,
they make a lot of money off of me, man.
You look good, man. You're giving me hope. You're giving me something to look forward to. What is your mission?
So I've adapted to this quote. I saw it on Google, and now this is like my personal mantra. And it says, I aspire to inspire before I expire. And one thing that I want to do while I'm inspiring people is to lead with love.
Come on.
I'm gonna give you a prime example, and then God has given me the opportunity to sing with artists that are not gospel artists.
Oh, for sure.
Everybody has different beliefs. There are some people who give credit to the universe and not Jesus. I'm friends with atheists. I'm friends with Muslims. I'm friends with Buddhists. Now this is real talk, man. I'm not making this up. I've actually been in situations where people have said, I've watched you, and I see your light, and I love the way you treat me, because they've had bad experiences in the church, where if you don't believe what I believe, then you're just like this castaway. I don't try to convert anybody. I try to inspire by my behavior and by the way that I stand and live for God.
Yeah.
And through that, people have been transformed. So with that being said, again, I lead with light. I believe that that's my mission. People, showing love, showing compassion, giving. I always said if God made me rich, I'd be like the male Oprah. I want to bless folk, man.
You get a car. You get a car. God, make him rich right now in the name of Jesus, because I need a new car. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nah.
Yeah, so I'm always thinking about people, man, and it's weird because I was just never that dude when I was younger, but I think God is just really doing something different with me now, and I'm just really all about people. Yeah. So that's my mission. Man. Did I ramble or was I making sense?
Hey, listen, look, I'm gonna quote that. I'm stealing that quote later. So if you see it on IG, I'm gonna show you some love for it. But yeah, I'm definitely stealing it.
I aspire to inspire before I expire.
That's it. I think we got the title of the show right there. You know what I'm saying? If I can fit it all on the YouTube thumbnail, we good. Nah, man, I appreciate you so much, man. You definitely have inspired me. And I know there's countless others, but right now I want to make sure you're aware that your walk, your faith, not just the music and the professional side of everything, but you as a man have inspired me to even become closer to God. So I appreciate you for that, man.
Wow.
Just walking it out. What they say, preach the gospel at all times and use words only if you have to.
Yeah.
So, man.
My man.
One more thing before we bounce, man. I think we have to do this. I don't know, it's become a thing. But make sure you let everybody know where to find you. If they're not already following you. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't got with TikTok yet, man. For some reason, I just don't feel like it's gonna be around long, man. That's just my opinion.
That's the 45-year-old in him.
I don't really think it's gonna be around long. I mean, man, the government, they trying to shut it down every week, man. They trying to write bills to cancel.
I'm having a hard time with it too, man. But I got a 14-year-old daughter, so she keep me in the loop. So,
right. But I am on Instagram.
Yeah, there we go.
Stay on Instagram. _Gene Moore. That's GeneMoore. And on Facebook, my music page is Gene Moore Official. So you can find me on there. No crazy DMs, please. I do respond to my DMs, but if it's something crazy, I'm just not gonna even talk to you, please. But
hit that block button real quick.
You're gonna get that block button real quick. But that's where you can find me, man. And then you can stream all of my music on every streaming platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Tidal, YouTube, whatever.
Everywhere. Man, listen, and don't just stream the new stuff. Go back, because we got catalogs for days. We can go all the way back to 2013, man.
Right.
So, listen,
going back to the Gary Mays stuff.
That's my dog, man.
Yes, that's my dog, man.
Yeah, man. Come on,
Shout
man.
out to G Mays.
Yeah, G is the man. So my twins, they love Grateful.
Yeah.
When they were babies, that was the first thing that they learned how to sing. They would be in the car. They would even do the ad-libs, the 1, 2, 3. They would even do that part. So yeah, shout out to G, man. Much love for the fam.
Right.
But man, appreciate you again for coming through. Make sure y'all check out all the music, not just the new stuff. Introspective coming out when?
Introspection.
I'm introspective. You know what I'm saying? But Introspection is coming out
April 14th.
April 14th. It's going down, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man.
All right, let's get it.
All right.